Hello and welcome to the Agenda on Politics Social. Nice to have you with us. I'm Graham Hughes and I'm joined, as always, by Phil Moorhouse. How's it going, Phil? You all right?
Yes, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
fine.
all things considered.
Just getting ready for World War III now. Never mind.
It's been a hell of a week, hasn't it? Big shout out to Chris C and Diz in the chat. We've got sort of Vendetta and Blue Badger as well. Got Saz is in there. If you'd like to join our friends in the chat, all you need to do is hit the nice subscribe button. If I can find the bloody animation. Hit the subscribe button and wait for 1 minute and you'll be able to join the discussion. So today we're going to be talking about Labour and their 14th U-turn. And while I know they're not really U-turns, like, this is getting beyond a joke. What the hell is going on, Phil?
Oh, well, exactly. I mean, it's mad. I mean, there's multiple problems with this. Like, first of all, they're demonstrating again that if you don't like something they do and you kick up a massive stink about it, that they will back down.
Yeah.
Because they tried to say, I was reading a report, they were trying to tell pubs apparently, oh, don't make this big stink about it because like the reason we did the thing for the farmers is because they were very reasonable. It's like, mate, they were riding tractors through London.
Yeah.
They would some farmers tried to engage, give them that.
Yeah.
Most of them, and we don't know which ones are real farmers, but they've at least gone to the trouble of buying a tractor. There was an extreme reaction.
Yeah.
They got up stages, they put Jeremy Clarkson up and everything.
Yeah.
Like the biggest foghorn in the country. It was quite remarkable. Now pubs have done the same thing. So anyone else now looks at this and goes, if we kick up a massive overblown stink, they'll back down. So first of all, you look weak.
Yes.
Second,
and you get criticised in all the papers because they say U-turn, but
exactly.
they're still getting rid of relief, the COVID relief on business rates. They're just going to be giving some money to pubs, like 300 million or something to pubs to keep going. Or it's just an adjustment. It's a
it doesn't matter whether you call it a U-turn or what, though. It is a backing down. They've backed down to pressure.
They've stood up and they've said something in public that they were going to do, and people are going, you can't do that. And they're going, okay, we won't do that. Why the fuck? I'm sorry to swear, but why the fuck are they not doing this before they announce it? Who's advising them?
This is exactly the problem, because what's supposed to happen? These sort of things happen all the time in the Treasury in Number 10. You know, it's like you go through this thing and then someone goes, this will create a backlash. We can't wear this, so we can't do it. That phase isn't happening. And we know it's not been happening. And this is what I mean. It's constantly going to keep happening. This is, you know, I'm going to have, it is Morgan McSweeney. It's Morgan McSweeney and all his people. There's no other way of saying it. And this is why I said it doesn't stop with the winter fuel policy. It's the same thinking. It's the same people whose job it is to stop this. And they're not stopping it.
So far.
And it will carry on. This will carry on. This will never stop.
For the U-turn count so far, and I know they're not real U-turns, I'm going to keep making this point, it's usually just a course correction. Business rate relief for pubs, tractor tax on farms, the income tax rise, the benefit cuts, benefit cuts to PIP, winter fuel payments, grooming gangs inquiry, the waspy women, national insurance, winter fuel. Like, it just makes it look like they're panicking. It makes it look like they announce, they panic, they backtrack.
Also, you know, they need to give the public confidence that they've got this plan. And they have got a plan. They have got a plan. They've got a detailed plan. We've finally got an industrial strategy after years. There are plans. But to the public who aren't paying attention to the minutiae, if all they see is the government doing a thing and then backing down, you're not going to convince them they've got a plan, are you?
Yeah.
Because how have they got a plan if they keep like changing it?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I mean,
third place in the polls now.
A lot of these things are to be welcome that they are changing their minds on, but why did they announce them in the first place? It's like they're like the worst business. You know, when you're trying to get people to buy what you're trying to sell them, and you say, oh, they should be charging you this, but we're only going to charge you this. What they're doing is they're turning up and going, you see this vacuum cleaner? It's worth a tenner, but it could be yours for £1,000. And you're like, hang on. Shouldn't you be saying it the other way round? Like, are you just, how are they so, How are they so bad at this?
This is the problem. There's a unit in number 10, it should really be in the Treasury as well, but certainly in number 10, that is supposed to check stuff that comes out the Treasury. Because all of this is related to the Treasury, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? It's supposed to be checked through. I mean, they check stuff that comes out of every department, but all of this is economic. And they're supposed to say that political understanding is absent. They don't have that. They're politically naive. They don't have the ability to look at a thing and go, this is at the very least going to be controversial. Let's check it out. Let's do a bit of, let's get the data analysts on it and see what happens. They're not even doing that. It is basic. It's very basic, and and this is what's screwing Labour more than anything else. There's like a couple of other things you could point to, but mostly it's this. It is the fact that they do not have that political filter in number 10, which is mad.
Yeah.
The most intensely political building in the country doesn't have any politically aware people working in it. Yeah. Or if they are, they're very junior and they're not listened to.
Yeah. But even in like somewhere where it's a bit more nuanced, where it's not like a straight U-turn. So for grooming gangs, for instance, at the time they said there's already been an inquiry. None of those things were acted on. The Tories just put it in a drawer. But I'm going to get Baroness Casey to look at it and decide whether we do need a national grooming inquiry, right? A further national grooming inquiry. And she went away for 6 months. I don't know why it took her so long, but she came back and said yes. And everyone screamed, U-turn, U-turn, you've U-turned. Well, it's like, well, if you had explained things better in the first place.
That one I was going to say, I would say the media would have done that anyway. That for me is not an issue. If none of the other, because people, I mean, that's one thing. If they hadn't done the winter fuel thing, if they hadn't done the PIP thing that they were never going to get through their own MPs, if they'd not done all of these other things, that one thing wouldn't have been an issue. That would have just been them saying, we didn't U-turn. We said we were going to get someone to investigate it, and we did, and they've come back, and now we're putting their recommendations in place. Yeah. That would have been easy because he would have had the credibility to say that. The problem now is he doesn't have credibility.
Yes.
So when he says, so if Keir Starmer says a thing now, it says, no, if he tries to suggest the media are misleading you, it's like, well, they're not going to believe him. He lacks the credibility now.
How is Kemi Badenoch so shit that she can't pull his pants down during Prime Minister's questions? Like,
really
how
bad.
Is she that bad?
She is really bad.
Any competent leader of the opposition could absolutely take him to town on every single one of these Prime Minister's questions. Well, and she spends all the questions asking daft things like why no statements on Ukraine on this new how many troops are you going to send in? I don't fucking know. Why are you wasting your question?
Well, exactly.
On a hypothetical.
And it's like but that won't change anyway. I mean, he will be safe in PMQs for the rest of this parliament because or for however long it lasts anyway, his parliament. Because if they replace her with Jenrick, he'll just be saying why are there still black people in the country, so he'll be no better. So
why are you so shit? That's every question she asks is like, why are you so shit? And he goes, I'm not. Yeah. And then she stands up again and goes, why are you so shit? It's like, what the? But yeah, she could absolutely go to town on the fact that he looks naive. He looks weak. He looks like he doesn't, like you say, he'll say something and you just say, well, he might change his mind on that tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
He looks like a ditherer. And the one thing we don't need right now in this world is a fucking ditherer running the United Kingdom. I just, I just despair. I went off on one this morning on my morning show about the fact that they didn't just ban Twitter this week. Just say, right, that's it. We're going to have a ban while we have an investigation. It would have been universally popular. Who would have objected? Paedophiles. That's who would have objected.
Darren Grimes.
Yeah. Or you could say, oh, look, the paedophiles. The only people who are angry about this are paedophiles or paedophile adjacent. End off.
Yeah. Of course, one of them's quite a powerful paedophile, but
But I mean, at the same time, it's like it's an easy win for them. Why aren't they?
Well, the thing is, the government can't block it. It's Ofcom that has to block it. So they've said we'd fully support Ofcom if they do that. But it is for Ofcom to do it, and Ofcom are a bit shit, aren't they?
Yes, a bit shit. They've taken GB News to task 14 times now. Is it? They preached.
Well, a reason, and the thing is, sometimes they do and they fine them, but they'll pay the fine. Now that's not Ofcom's fault. They can only do what they do. Or maybe they should take GB News off. But then you had that Trump interview where he was allowed to say a load of things about Britain that are objectively untrue, not Matt's opinion, just untrue.
Yeah.
And there was no pushback at all. So that breached broadcasting guidelines as well. Not doing anything about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as I know, anyway.
But yeah, it's Unquiet Badger saying Starmer is too easily led, stroke persuaded. He may be a decent person, but his political naivety is chronic. I think for that reason he needs to step down, and McSweeney and Co needs to be gotten rid of.
Well, if you got someone with political chops, then like the Prime Minister, I mean, you know, Tony Blair never came across as politically naive, but you know, and we've seen every January we get a glut of unclassified documents. So this is still from the time when Labour were in power. So, you know, there are always cases of where Tony Blair was thinking of doing something monumentally stupid. It's his advisors that persuaded him not to.
Don't do that, Tony, you dickhead. But yeah, exactly. Liam's saying something quite right at this point. If Starmer clicked his fingers and changed everything overnight, it wouldn't matter. The general public would still hate him. You could genuinely study the psychology of this predicament. It's crazy. Yeah, you're right. People aren't going to change opinion on him. No matter how much he makes people's lives better in the next few years, people aren't going to change their opinion on him.
They may not, no.
Anything that goes wrong in their life, you know, the washing machine breaks down, they have a leaky gutter, the dog dies, they're going to say that's Starmer's fault.
And anything that good happens, they won't assign to the government because, I mean, first of all, he's still not even trying to explain it to them.
Yeah.
The mad thing is he thinks it is.
Chris is saying in the chat, when it comes to child sexual abuse material, it's the Internet Watch Foundation that makes a recommendation and the Home Office act on that recommendation. Yeah, I think the Home Office can do something about this because it involves children, because it involves the sexualization of minors.
Well, Keir Starmer's saying it's Ofcom.
I know.
He's the one who decides.
He's a fucking idiot.
Who's I don't think, he doesn't usually get points of things like that wrong. Like, he's usually on top of his, well, he is on top of his brief. He's just a political idiot.
What would you have said? Okay, so last weekend now, we had the invasion of Venezuela by Trump to kidnap the leader, Maduro, and his wife, and put them on trial in America. Right now,
is his wife even on trial, or has she just been held without charge?
Oh, she's been held as well. She's had charges brought against her as well for corruption and racketeering or something like that. They made something up. But if you were Starmer and they said, "Is this illegal?" I don't know. You saw Darren Jones on all the channels on Sunday trying to not say that it was an illegal thing to do. Oh, it's for the Americans, it's not for us to say. What would you say in that position?
I would have said I wouldn't have said a positive yes, it's illegal, because I understand the political situation. And I will point this out as well for people criticizing Starmer. Literally every single one of the coalition of the willing European leaders has equivocated the same.
Yes.
Right. So you cannot say that Starmer is weak, and so is Macron, so is Merz, and so is von der Leyen, and so is Rutte, and all these other people. What about Sanchez? That's because Spain is aligned with China and Europe, not Europe and America. So Spain is very strongly aligned with Latin America and China. So Sanchez is not one of the ones who gets rolled out to try and persuade Trump to keep supporting Ukraine. So he's free to say that. And in fact, he needs to say that because of his own alliances. But anyway, what I would have said is I'd have made it clear it's illegal without saying it. I'd have worked out some wording behind closed doors with the White House. I'd have basically said, look, we can't, you can do your own thing, but we can't back this. This is like shit for us. So let's agree some wording whereby we're going to say you've broken the law without explicitly saying you've broken the law. And something along the lines of, the UN Charter is really important for maintaining the sort of stability that the United States benefits from, and we all benefit from, and we should not be allowing other concerns to weaken the rules-based international order. Something vaguely like that makes it clear that it's wrong without saying, yeah, it's definitely illegal.
Yeah.
Because, there's a reason why he's not saying it's not personal to him. This is clearly coordinated with every other one of those European leaders that has been getting Trump on side for Ukraine.
Yeah.
I mean, I would prefer it if we just said, look, sod it, this is too much. Like I was saying in my stream earlier, it obviously isn't, but isn't the fact that we are paying, Europe collectively is buying a lot of military tech from America, not just for Ukraine, but for ourselves as well. Can we not just put that on the table? Can we not just say to Trump, look, let's cards on the table, mate. This is, cards on the table. Your support for Ukraine is the reason why we are buying a load of American tech and the reason why we haven't bit back with tariffs. Can we leave it at that? And for all other purposes, we're going to have to take our own view. Can we not just say you've broken the law here? That's not, we can't accept it. It's no big deal. It don't stop him. It's just words. Just say to him, it's just words. We're going to say that this is illegal. It is illegal. We can't have it. But he can't just keep holding Ukraine over them. But I'm not a diplomat and I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Maybe they feel that Trump is insane enough to risk a trade war and, us not buying American stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's mad. He's a madman. You're trying to deal with the madman.
Yeah. What was your show today? Yeah. Trump says nothing can stop him. Yeah, except his own morality, apparently.
Yeah, that's what he said.
His own morality, that's the only thing stopping him from doing whatever he wants. And he hasn't got any morality. Oh, my God. Yeah. So, should we talk about something more fun? Refuck. They've now split into another party called Advance or something.
They did. Well,
is this happening? What is going on? Is this a fever dream?
This is a party of Reform UK rejects led by Ben Habib. So it paints itself. These are basically what Reform UK did. They're an extremist party, but they try and pretend they're not that extreme so they can get moderate support. Otherwise, they'd never be on 26 points in the polls, right? It'd be impossible. So Advance UK, they are basically the Reform UK rejects. So it's Ben Habib, it's Tommy Robinson, it's Rupert Lowe. Tommy Robinson's joined. Yeah. Elon Musk backs them. Because they're the ones there. And what's mad to me is they are this extreme zero tolerance, anti-immigration, anti-rights party led by a Pakistani immigrant. Mental, isn't it?
Wow.
But apparently that's what they are. And
well,
so, for example, they don't just want us to pull out of the European Convention of Human Rights. They want us to pull out of all international treaties. They don't like the UN.
Well, that's what Trump's pretty much
They don't even want, like, Reform UK try and say, oh yeah, we'll pull out of European Convention of Human Rights, but we'll have our own Bill of Rights. Advance UK say, no human rights at all.
Yeah.
That's them. Yeah. Right? That's them.
So Chris is saying, I'll give you a prime example, access to the Pirate Bay was blocked by the UK Home Office, not by Ofcom. Yeah.
All I'm telling you is that the government are saying it's Ofcom.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you think another body has a power to do it. Yeah, the government are making it clear they expect Ofcom to deal with this.
What can seriously though, what can Keir Starmer do about this? He's only the Prime Minister. It's just
they should. I think we're gonna have to block Twitter, and I'm gonna suggest it'd be easier to do it sooner rather than later.
Yes.
You cannot wait until we're in the election campaign. So think about this is the excuse. This is the reason I gave earlier. Right. So 2 days ago, Minneapolis. A woman's trying to sort of pull out of a driveway. She seems to me, I've watched the video, inadvertently block some ICE vehicles, right? She didn't know. They get out and make a big fuss. She panics and tries to drive off. They shoot her dead, right? We know that the government are lying about that because we've seen the video footage.
Yes.
Right? We then suspect they were also lying in Portland yesterday because there's no footage of that, right? But we know there's footage in Minneapolis. We've seen it. What happens in a few years' time if AI video can be so compelling that you can get something that looks like bystander mobile phone footage, but is completely faked?
I don't think that.
I worry that Twitter is going to be flooded with AI generated videos and photos that the unwary will fall for disinformation in a way that's much worse than anything that's happened before. And the warier people will not know what to believe.
But will it be reported by the newspapers and by the news sites? They look at it and go, "This is AI generated."
Yeah, but because
the BBC are famously cagey about saying anything until they've verified stuff.
Yes, but what if there's not as many people? There's still a lot of people getting their primary source of news from social media now, and there's a decreasing number of people getting it from mainstream media.
Yes, but that can be by anyone who's a friend with those people. that can be battered away. You say, well, that hasn't been reported by any of the news, so it's probably not true.
I
think
people
need to
privately believe it. In a general election campaign, there don't have to be a discussion about it.
I mean, the technology to make something look really fucking realistic has been there for a very, very long time because we've had movies. I mean, but
that's big really budget stuff. I'm talking about someone in their underpants in their basement doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, even if they can get it looking to the level that would fool the casual observer, which, I mean, a lot of these AI videos, they can fool people who aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
But I would say that this is one of the reasons why I am very concerned about the fact, this is pointed out, that when it comes to the truth, when it comes to things that are actually real, you got to pay to read it because it's all behind paywalls. And when it comes to fiction, when it comes to lies, when it comes to manipulation and propaganda, it's all free. It's all you can eat. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. So you have to pay for the truth, you get the lies for free. And that is why it's one of the fundamental problems with the internet right now.
This is why Grok now saying that it's AI tools will only be available for paying customers makes not a jot of difference, because the problem is not the creation of these sexualized images in that particular case. It's the fact that they're then, although it's still quite bad, but it's the fact that they're shown publicly. None of this stops that being done.
Yeah.
None of it stops the images being created, and none of it stops them being shared.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the problem. That's why, I was talking earlier, boycotting these platforms, that doesn't work. That does nothing, because your boycotting works on the basis that you're depriving a business of your revenue. There's no revenue. So if you boycott Twitter, you're not depriving Musk of any revenue. Twitter is not a revenue raising vehicle. It's a vehicle to make him richer through his other acquisition. Twitter exists to change governments. Yep. That's what it exists to do.
Yep. In which case he got it at a bargain.
So for 44 billion. So what you've got to do is you've got to stop everyone else being able to see it. You have to actually declare this thing is illegal. Not, it's a matter of choice. If you don't like it, don't watch it type, or don't buy it type thing. You have to go, no, this is harmful to society and it must be blocked.
Yeah.
All the other social media platforms, even Zuckerberg's, I can say they will respond to like the usual stuff, fines and regulations, stuff like that. Musk won't. He won't respond to any of that stuff. Because it's too valuable for him to just ignore the law. So you have to just take it down.
Yeah. Chris C has dropped a super chat in saying biggest threat to society, social media. Thanks for that, Chris. I don't necessarily agree that it's social media per se. It's unregulated social media. It's social media where 99% of the users are bots, and it's all paid for by Russia and the oil oligarchs, and they're just spreading misinformation. They're using it to spread very, very vile, toxic propaganda. We had another super chat come in from Ivan. Thank you. I know many people know that the DWP has not got better apart from Labour reducing the overpayment rate to 15%. So many of these overpayments are overpayments and errors. I and so many other people have experienced it. This is where people get given too much money, and then a year later, the government says, "Oh, you got to give us that money back that we gave you in error." And it's like, what? When I grew up playing Monopoly, the bank made an error in my favour, not the other way around. It's not like you get to keep that money, right? It's not like you go around the board a couple of times and say, "Oh, you know that money you got in error from the bank? Yeah, you got to give it back to us now."
The thing is, like, it's reasonable to say it was in error, you have to give it back, but you have to do it on a very reasonable basis. Like, for example, if all they can afford is 50p a week to pay it back, well, it's the government's fault.
Yes.
So the government should not make an innocent person suffer.
Yeah.
So I do say, okay, you can pay it back, because someone might end up in better circumstances. They can afford to pay it back properly. I'm not saying you cancel the money just because someone made an error, but you can't do it in a way that puts people into a financial hardship. That has to be a red line. So you have to say it's government's error. Stop making errors if you don't like it.
SG's got a question for us, who's been a member for 11 months. 11 months! Go you. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being a member for 11 months, SG. Very generous as well in the super chats. Who's weaker, stroke more incompetent, Labour or the Democrats?
Labour. The Democrats have got more money. All they have to do is spend it in the right places, and they can get whatever expertise they like. The Democrats are actually paying close attention, at least to various campaigns. They're just not providing any national narrative, but that's because they've got no leadership.
Yes. They're rudderless.
So Labour are more in common. Labour are politically naive. The Democrats are not politically naive. They're just leaderless, really. So there's no. So although I mean they are doing well in elections, notice they're spending the right places and they're picking the right things to campaign on.
Yeah.
But they're just not getting on top of any sort of national narrative.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They should be leading protests
and
against the ICE at the very least. That should be a no-brainer.
Yes.
They've got video footage, which means they can cast doubt on any other claim that an ICE officer, if there's no, again, they should push that. They should push, I said it in a video this week, they should push the idea that they have to wear body cams, right? Like police do.
Yeah.
So you don't have to leave it to that. We should say we cannot trust ICE's word. You cannot trust the FBI because they're taking over. Because it's like the same government is going to also investigate it. The FBI, and it is a federal thing, so technically it is for the FBI to investigate these things. But that's the same government that's already provably lied.
Yeah.
So the Democrats should be really leading on this, saying we need body cam footage. We need indisputable proof of what's actually going on here, because you can't just go around shooting Americans.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris is saying, see Sam, whether it is AI generated or not is illegal to possess, make or share. Therefore, X is breaking the child protection 1978.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you the other thing they could do, the cheeky thing they could do that thing where you've got to prove your age to even access Twitter. Yeah. But that would, of course, not stop it. That would just be a bit of cheekiness.
There's porn on Twitter. That would be quite easy, actually, because you said, well, there's porn on there. So, you know.
Yeah.
So that's pretty grim. Also, I mean, just to mention about Trump and this murder of a 37-year-old mother of three. Do you think that it's going to actually have any impact? Because
I do.
Why do you think that this out of anything will have impact with the MAGA lot?
Because first of all, she's white, right? So straight away, you don't get the normal sort of She wasn't an activist. She's white.
Well,
so you don't get all of these.
They've said she was a domestic
terrorist.
I know,
but she's not. We've got video. We've got video that proves the American government are lying.
Yes. But right.
According to them,
fans
she drove
excuses.
Yeah, but I don't care about the Trump fans. It's not the Trump fans that propelled him to power. It's the swing voters that decided to back him because he was going to give them cheaper eggs. And those people, you know, this is like, because you start to think about those people thinking, well, what's the difference between this woman and my wife or my cousin or my neighbor that goes around doing like Christian neighborly things? Because that's all she was doing. She was turning out into traffic. That's all she was doing.
Christianity in America is not like Christianity anywhere else in the world. It's a very warped and twisted form of Christianity that makes people think that the most important thing isn't being good to your neighbor, it's stealing everything your neighbor's got.
I think the key voters in America, who are basically white middle class, one of the key groups of voters, again, I did it in my video, people keep thinking of voters, but there's types of voter. And some types of voter are more important to some parties.
Had he not already lost them though, Phil?
No.
Last year. Is this the final straw that'll get rid of
this
sort of
so one absolutely crucial group of voters for the Republicans are these sort of white middle-aged women.
Yeah, but Amy's making a good point here. She is part of an out group because she was a lesbian.
Don't matter. She wasn't doing lesbian things. It makes no difference.
Existing.
No, she doesn't. It's nothing to do with that. She could have, again, it's about empathy. If a voter can imagine that could have been their wife or their daughter or their cousin or their neighbor
themselves,
right? All they have to do is picture it in their head, and that is friction in the elections.
But a lot of people don't have any empathy.
Because key voters tend not to be black, because black people tend not to be stupid enough to vote for the Republicans, for example. So when black people get shot, that picture in people's heads doesn't form in terms of those crucial swing voters who are basically white. This does. This is different.
Talking about racism, have you been watching The Traitors?
No, I don't watch telly.
So they've done 4 seasons of it now, and even on the Celebrity Edition, people in the first few rounds, they don't really know each other, and at the end of each day, they've got to decide who they think the traitors are, and it's overwhelmingly the black people and the Asian people and the disabled
Doesn't
people.
surprise me. Again, program like that's really dodgy.
They've got nothing to go on, so they're like, I'm a bit sus about you. And they're like, why are you sus about me? He goes, well, I can't put my finger on it. And it's like a black guy. And you're just like, oh my God.
Because
this
it's just
unbelievable.
It's how we are. We're like, there's a sense in which we are all naturally racist. We just need to make sure that we engage our thinking parts of the brains. Because we've evolved to be tribal. We're chimps. We are literally like chimps. We evolved from chimps, and we have the same attitudes in that, in hunter-gatherer days, there's a cohesion within our own tribe. But if we came across another tribe, we'd have to be wary because they might not be friendly. Yeah. So it's just part of it's a survival mechanism. It helped our species survive, but we just, in a modern society, it can be a bit dodgy, and you just have to understand the need to be. But
being
that
aware
sort
of unconscious bias is
you should
means
be
that
very aware.
It's not unconscious anymore. You think, well, why am I getting these bad vibes from this person who's done me nothing wrong?
But these sort of programs, these sort of reality TV show types, deliberately get on people that are going to create friction with themselves. It's all they must. I don't know what the process is, but I'm going to bet they psychologically profile them to be as mad as possible. Yeah. Right, like on Big Brother, they never used to get critically thinking, analytical, deep thinkers on Big Brother, did they? Get fucking idiots.
Well, the woman who went out yesterday was a police detective, and she was shite. She worked for the Met, and she was a retired police detective. And she got everything wrong. And the persons that she befriended in the house, as like, I think I can trust you more than anybody else, fellow white woman. She's a traitor. We know she's a traitor, but and you're like watching it going, oh my God, it's not a good advert for the Met.
But that's well, it's a very good psychological experience. And it does you've just made a good point. I mean, I didn't know about this because I watched telly. But that's how it will work, and that is why this Renee Good thing will cut through.
Fingers crossed.
Because they can picture her.
Yeah.
They can picture her being their wife or daughter or cousin or neighbour or whatever.
I love this comment from Plum who just says, I'm a monkey that likes crumpets. Aren't we all?
Monkeys like crumpets.
GOJ, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Anyone else noticed how the Venezuela operation and shootings in Minneapolis and Portland have killed discussions of the Epstein files? I don't know if they killed discussions, but they're a little bit muted, but they're still rumbling away in the background.
And Canna and Massey are now asking a judge, you heard this, they're asking a judge to appoint someone to oversee it because they don't trust the Department of Justice. They've noted that they've already broken the law by not releasing them.
Yes.
They've also made the claim to the court that we reckon this talk of millions more files is just a snow job to make it sound like it's too much work to get it all done quickly. Yes. They don't believe there's that many. They've said that they've also broken the law because they were also supposed to 15 days later produce details of the redactions and why the redactions were made. And they haven't done that either. So they want someone independent to oversee the process inside the Department of Justice, because they say they do not trust the Department of Justice to release all the files properly or to redact appropriately. So it's not going away.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm laughing probably inappropriately because I'm reading the comments. Retro ship post has written, she wasn't doing lesbian things. Oh my God, Phil.
She wasn't.
She wasn't doing lesbian things. What, like
that's
knitting?
Not what going to trouble.
Or wearing a hat? I mean...
No, I mean, like, in terms of people identifying with her, she's a white mother. Yeah. That's all there is to it. She's a white, middle-aged mother.
And an American citizen as well.
Yes.
So why is customs
born
control... Why is Homeland Security going after? Yeah.
So
Ivan...
The link is there.
Ivan, thank you very much for the £20 super chat. That's very kind of you. Thank you, Ivan. As a dedicated Labour Party member, the party is not even engaging meaningfully with us as members. I agree, let alone the public in general. We as members should have as much more influence with policy and the discussions about policy.
No, I'm going to really disagree on that one.
Really?
Yes.
I think they should be doing that. I mean, taking people's views on board. I mean, it's not.
Yes,
I'm not
but
saying
no outside. The thing is, members are not like the voters, and the problem every single time, the leadership does, because that has happened before. That has happened before, where leaders have pandered to the members and they lose every election. They've never won an election doing that.
I'm not
and
talking
the reason
about
is
having
the members are nothing like the voters.
I'm not talking about having a policy-driven
You've just said
forum
that.
of
That was the
members.
comment.
I would have no. They should have much more influence with policy and discussions about policy. I like that idea to get
Discussions, yes, but
some
not.
other
They should have
ideas
no influence on policy.
I think they should have weekly meetings that are for Labour members that are, 52 a year, and they're hosted by a different MP each week, and we have it, Thursday night at 6:00, and it goes on, and people can submit what they want to say or what they're upset about, and then at least you get some sounding from the members, and at least you make the members feel part of something. At the moment,
you could certainly do that.
People who are still members of Labour are hanging on by the
you cannot, which is what the comment was, have members having a greater say over policy than the public, because the members are, well, actually, these days, we don't know how many, maybe 100,000. Whereas you need about 12 million people to vote for you.
Yes.
Give or take. You need millions of people to vote for you. So no, that is a guaranteed way to lose the next election and end up with like a right-wing government. Members need to understand that they are not ordinary members of the public. They have a particular view.
Yeah. Okay.
Fringe. If you are a Labour member, you are fringe. It doesn't matter whether you're centre left or very left or something like that. You are committed enough to a party in a way that the swing voters you need to appeal to are not that committed to any party.
Yes.
So
okay.
Fundamentally
fair
different.
enough. But I still think it would be a good idea to have these meetings, which they don't do at the moment. All I get from Labour, and you got this when you remember, is an email once a week asking for money. Great.
Which they don't get from me anymore. They don't get any money from me anymore.
Well, there you go. I mean, like, it's usually that they need to have a dialogue.
They should.
Because
I've said this of lots of groups.
Even though most people watching this are people who are interested in politics, right? And we're all pretty much left-wing on here, right? We still have discussions. We still bring up different things. And I know we're not a representative subsection of the broader society.
Certainly
but at the same time, every day someone will put something in the comments that I haven't thought of, that I haven't, actually that's a good point. Or, we're thinking of doing this. We're thinking of doing this tremendously unpopular policy. What do you lot think? That's a terrible idea.
What you've just said about, a weekly meeting, online meeting that you could have. I have suggested that of individual Labour groups to do it. I've suggested it of Labour Campaign for Electoral Reform, Labour for Business, various groups within Labour. So Labour should certainly do it. I'm a big believer in.
That'd be boring as fuck, though.
No, it wouldn't.
Come on.
No, it wouldn't.
Labour business. What are they going to do? Just sit there and talk about what?
You talk about. You can talk. You don't have to talk about dry stuff. It doesn't have to look like the Mansion House speech or anything.
It'd be so dull.
But it's about, you do it about jobs, or you do it about trade, you do it about something interesting in the news. And these sort of groups tend to be happy with just a few hundred people anyway. You get a few hundred people watching.
Yeah.
These days, I have to
Labour
be
for electoral reform, Labour for small businesses, SME Labour, whatever it's called.
All of them could do. Some of them might be advised not to, because some of them will attract too many crazes. But most Labour affiliated groups could certainly do weekly YouTube live streams.
Yeah.
And they don't have to they don't have to take the questions from the comments. They could get people to post it. Each on the channel, you could have various things. I mean, people who are members of them can email something in. You give priority to those people, right?
Yeah.
And you just go through the things. If you happen to catch sight of a related comment or a follow-up comment in the chat, then bring it in. But no one says you have to reply to every comment in a chat feed.
No.
So you don't have to fall into any elephant traps or anything.
Yeah.
You've got your questions in advance, because if you're a member of, say, Labour Movement for Europe, they invite you to email in, and then they bring up some of those questions, and then they discuss some of those questions you've already thought about in advance, and then you just respond to the odd bit of chat that comes up. Huh?
You just got one guy who likes the sound of his own voice, and he just talks for an hour about how bad it is that we've left the EU. And you're all sitting there going, I know.
Okay, so there must be someone who'd compare it for them, who can do it.
Wow, I think it's just me and you, mate. I honestly.
No, there's other people that could do it. But
maybe Femi, Mike Galsworthy.
He wouldn't do it for Labour, would he? He hates Labour.
Oh, not for Labour now. Sorry, I thought that for Europe. Oh yeah, Galsworthy doesn't like Labour anymore.
No, I was talking specifically for Labour here, as that's what we're talking about. But yeah, other groups could do it as well. Other groups would benefit
place
from
in the
doing
polls. They're third place. They need
to
just stop whatever they are doing. It's not working.
Well, the thing is, they keep changing it, but they don't change the one thing that's actually wrong. It's like, their latest
You think it's just
thing.
one thing?
Have you seen this? Morgan McSweeney's telling the cabinet now, ignore the polls. No, don't fucking ignore the polls. Ignore the polls, he says. He says the problem is they don't have an emotional connection with the public. He says, no, the problem, mate, is you're a political idiot. The thing that's damaged Labour's reputation with the public are things like looking like they're trying to screw vulnerable groups over. The winter fuel policy thing, the disability thing, the farmers thing, the pubs thing. All of these things look like an attack on the community.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. The problem is not that, as I said in my video, the problem is not that Bridget Phillipson is not posting kitty pictures or that David Lamb is not doing cooking videos. That's not the problem.
Yes, exactly.
They should do that as well, by the way. That's still good practice on social media. But that is not the fundamental problem.
Yeah. Ivan Ambrose, thank you very much for the extra £5. Thank you. I can see your point, Phil. We just need much more than we are getting out of our membership at the present. We need to be listened to properly. And I completely agree with that. I think that they need to be having a discourse with, and this is, again, going back to the Brexit wars, one of the most infuriating things that Labour did at that time was it was like, oh, look, there's 1 million people come to London. They must all be political activists. All these like little old grannies who are getting off their arse and coming to London to protest against Brexit. Shall we get these people on board and get them to knock on doors and tell them to vote for us because we're going to stop Brexit? Did they fuck? And you're like, what the? Oh God! It's right there. It's right. But yes, and Townsend is saying Trident is a white elephant. We can't even launch the missiles as they explode. What? I think we can launch our own nuclear weapons. It's just that the maintenance and the upgrades are being done by America, whereas in France they do everything in France. Themselves. So France has its own nuclear deterrent.
So France is the only completely independent nuclear deterrent
in Europe.
Not that it's much of a deterrent, because in case anyone's not noticed, Russia's attacking Europe.
Yes.
So it's not a deterrent against conventional warfare, which means that we need conventional warfare of our own, which is taking some time. We should have done it years ago.
Yeah. So I have a question talking about Ukraine. Okay. So what's your video this week about the summit that they had, Macron and
You're one
Starmer.
of the very few who did. I think there's about 5 people watched that.
Well, I was one of them. And I've got to say, I was a bit confused with your arguments. Could you run it by me again? Because I didn't get it. I think that's probably why people didn't watch it as much.
So what they're proposing to do...
You said there was a flaw in it. You said that there was a problem with this.
They're proposing that they put French and British troops and troops from any other willing country into Ukraine.
Yes.
Well behind enemy lines.
Yes.
And they're not combat troops. So they will never, ever engage Russian forces. If Russian forces move to them, they will move back. You know that game that you play when you're a kid where you've got a whole gang of people in there and you put them in a hall and they've got to themselves, no one tells them who it is. They've got to assign one person to be the shield and one person to be the bomb. And they've got to keep moving so that the shield is between themselves and the bomb person. You know that game?
No, but I can imagine.
It breeds chaos, basically. That is what they are. Russia's the bomb, right?
Yeah.
Ukrainian troops are the shield, and the British and French will be the ones constantly trying to be nowhere near the bomb, right? They will not be combat troops. They're not even, I mean, obviously all soldiers have some basic training, but they're not combat soldiers. They're not frontline soldiers. They're not designed for combat. And so putting them into Ukraine, Russia has already said they will consider them legitimate targets, right? So they could be bluffing, but at the end of the day, Russia, the thing is, what will they be in Ukraine to do? They'll be in there to guard critical infrastructure, logistics, military stockpiles. They've said that. Macron and Starmer have said that. So Russia will be going, oh, there's a British unit there. They're there to guard things that are logistically important for the Ukrainian army. We'll bomb it. So
then they'll be, if they kill British or French soldiers
who
are unarmed,
What? They will be armed.
That'll be a pretext for us to bomb the living shit out of the front lines.
Because it'll be in Ukraine.
Yes.
It'll be in Ukraine.
Yes.
So it won't be an attack on a NATO country.
I know, but there'll be an attack on British soldiers, French
We
soldiers.
are making it clear.
I'm not saying that the whole of NATO needs to come in. I'm saying
Graham,
that'll give us a pretext to...
No, it doesn't. Because we're not looking for a pretext. We're making it clear that we're not going to engage Russia. That is just basically Russia saying, oh, they're too scared to engage us. So it's not a deterrent. And in fact, it just paints a bullseye on Ukraine's logistics.
If it goes ahead. Do you not think it was a bit of political theatre coming off the back of what Trump did in Venezuela and his threats to Greenland?
There was a bit of that anyway, because at the end of the day, this deployment only happens in the event of a peace deal.
Yes,
which means Russia has to sign off on it, and
they're
not signing off on troops. So there is an element to which you could just judge it as, it's a way of saying to Trump, look, Putin's the barrier to peace here because we've got this plan and he won't agree to it.
Yeah, and that's why I think that the concept of boots on the ground, but not necessarily on the front line, is a good one to say, not to actually do. I can see you thinking in actual reality it wouldn't be a great idea, but we know that Putin cannot ever sign up to a peace agreement about Ukraine because he'll die. They will throw him out a window of a plane while it's exploding.
At a certain point, though, there will have to be some sort of deal because it's unsustainable for Russia just like it is everyone else.
Is it, though? I mean, the oil's still coming out the ground. I mean, they're still part of OPEC+. Plus.
Have you seen the oil prices? In fact, Trump's not done Putin any favours at all in the last week because he's first of all got rid of a key ally, and it's also caused the price of oil to go down.
Yes.
So
what was about this morning?
Trump's not done Russia any favours in the last week.
So he's got today. He's having a meeting with the oil barons from like ExxonMobil and that, and he's saying to them, I want you to go to Venezuela and start drilling oil in Venezuela. Yeah. And they're going to be saying, we just invested $500 billion in infrastructure in Canada, and we're pumping loads. If we start drilling stuff in Venezuela, what do you think is going to happen? The price of oil is going to go down. We're going to be making less bang for our buck. And so why would we do that? Why would we sabotage our own operation?
That is ultimately it. He's asking them to put in massive amounts of infrastructure into a country that's not guaranteed to be stable.
Not stable,
And when the rewards at the moment are oil is very low price. It's like you're asking him to put this massive investment in with a very low price of oil that, as you say, will get even lower if they succeed.
Yes.
He doesn't understand anything. Trump,
he's thick as
I cannot emphasize it enough. Trump is a fucking moron. He's just a very dangerous moron.
We've got some super chats come in. First of all, from Goose Springsteen. I love that name. There is a real issue where the Royal Navy specifically have failed to successfully launch a test Trident missile since pre-2016. The US have made successful launches, but we haven't, which is concerning. That is concerning, Goose Springsteen. And thank you for that super chat, which triggered our Covfefe. Thank you so much for that, Goose. And we have another super chat on top of that from Tinkinator40. Thank you very much for the £10 super chat. The algorithms on social media are suppressing more grounded and rational voices. Only hyperbolic content and conspiracy theories are being promoted, reflecting the zeitgeist of worsening division. Yeah, absolutely. The truth is expensive, bullshit is free and unlimited and self-generating. Like we have bots putting out bullshit. We don't have bots putting out the truth. It's so skewed against people who care about the truth over what makes people feel good. Actually value it. Andy says he's reduced the cost of oil by 300%, 800%. That's what he said about medicine, didn't he? He said he's reduced the cost of medicine 800%.
Yeah.
How does that go down with you as a maths physics?
I mean, it doesn't matter how it goes down with me. It goes down with the public. Can the American public afford? Have they got easy, cheap access to healthcare now? If the answer is no, then it's bollocks.
Yeah,
really that simple.
Yeah. But that is mad that the American tax burden isn't that much lower than anywhere else's. And they get fuck all.
I was watching recently. Do you know how you get these people, like Americans, who go and live somewhere else and then they do a YouTube channel on the difference between America and their country?
In Russia.
So, so there's this one guy. I've forgotten his name now. I don't subscribe to him, but I came across it recently. No.
Rad.
So he lives in Britain, and he was explaining how Americans get conned about, because you'd think it's mad, isn't it? Americans are aware that you have universal healthcare in Canada and Europe, right? So why aren't they up in arms about the fact that they don't? Why do we have a situation
Because they like
where
to.
he said himself when he was young, right? You know, a car hit, I think it might be his brother or something, a sibling, and his mother had to beg them not to call an ambulance because, like, £1,000, she can't afford it.
Yeah.
But so why do Americans put up with this? Why do they put up with it? And he tells them they get told all sorts of lies, things like, oh, but they don't have, like, oh yeah, you can in theory get it through, but there's these queues and you never get to the end of it. So you never actually get any treatment.
Yeah.
Or they get told
American
like,
friends who have said that to me, and I've gone, no, that's not true.
yeah. And they'll say things like, there's certain things you just don't have access to, like we don't have ibuprofen here, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, mate.
Yeah, you die on the waiting
video
list.
of going, I just got this from Tesco. It's like,
yeah.
But they get lied to. So, and because that's the only way. Because if you think about it rationally, if the American public realized, if they realized that you can actually have the healthcare they have in America, but not free because you pay for it in taxes. Well, actually, that's another good point he made. But free at point of access, and it actually is free, properly free, if you're very poor.
Yeah,
because you're too poor to pay tax, right? So it's a socialized system. You don't call it that in America, of course. You go, oh no, it's communism. No, it's not. But still, if you told people in America that how it actually works in these other places, they'd be up in arms, wouldn't they?
But they spend more of their tax dollar on Medicare and Medicaid, which doesn't cover everybody. It just covers old people, kids.
It doesn't cover everything either,
and some disabled people. But like, they spend more of it per capita than we do on the NHS, which serves everybody.
And the reason for that is because the way it works, American insurance company, it's not just that they have private healthcare. They have healthcare, they have insurance companies that want to sell you the healthcare. So what they do deals with hospitals that say, right, jack up your prices 5 times as much as you need, right? We will offer our insurance, and we'll claim that it gives them a 60% reduction. So it sounds like a great deal for our customers, and you get to still pocket a trouser a load more money. You jack up your prices 5 times as much, you'll make twice as much, and it's a con. It's just a massive con. So it's not just that you're paying the price of the healthcare. You're paying way above you're paying at least double the price of the healthcare, and sometimes more. And they put stupid shit as well. Like, what was one example? Giving birth. There's a charge for the nurse or the midwife holding your baby.
Yeah.
Fuck. Could you imagine trying to say to someone in Britain, right, do you want to give us a £5 to hold your baby? Can you imagine? And yet they fall for this bollocks in America.
Yep. And they're saying, why aren't women having children? Because it's too fucking expensive. And then you've got these toxic manosphere knobheads who are telling men to treat women like shit. And then they're wondering why they're not getting laid. And then they're just hating women even more. Because every time they meet a woman, they go, I fucking hate you. You smell. And they wonder why that woman doesn't want to stay with them. I'm just like, what the fuck is... the reason why the male loneliness epidemic, why it exists, is because of Andrew Tate. That is it. If he wasn't on the internet, it wouldn't fucking exist. I tell you now. He's just telling kids not to be nice to people.
Yeah.
Treat them really mean. Be horrible to women. Call them bitches. They love that. No, they don't. They really... Trust me on this one, friends. They really fucking don't. Nobody likes it. I mean, some people might put up with it because their partner is incredibly rich, but once the prenup is run out of time or whatever it is, they're out the door. But David Peacock says, they are fuckwits. I don't know who you're talking about there, but it could be. It could be anyone. People. We're just surrounded by fuckwits.
That is unfortunately the world. Like, we evolved for small tribes. We didn't evolve for complex societies.
Yeah.
We've only had civilization for what, about 10, 12,000 years, maybe.
Oh, I'm with Gandhi on that one when he was asked what he thought of Western
No,
civilization, and he said, I think it would be a good idea.
I'm with Ricky Gervais on that one. He was a bit cheeky. That was a bit cheeky.
What did he say?
Right, he got his education in Britain.
Yeah.
He was a product of Western civilization.
Oh no, Gandhi. Gandhi.
I know Gandhi.
Yeah.
Yes,
What are you talking about, David Brent? What?
So Ricky
Ricky Gervais?
Gervais did a bit of a stand-up once where
Oh,
he
okay.
said,
When he was funny.
he talks about that particular thing. He said, uh, it was a bit cheeky. It was a bit rude to Gandhi. But he says, "Oh, let's have your NHS specs off you and your University of Oxford degree. What do you think about it now, Mr. Magoo?" But it is a bit cheeky, that.
Is that when he started?
Civilization is any society where you've got basically toilets or some way of getting. That's the definition of civilization. If you've got some way of getting rid of your waste, because you've got different levels.
Well, we got rid of our waste, didn't we? We sent all the Puritans over to America, and see how that got.
As well.
See where that got us.
Didn't work out. Yeah, we'd have been better off diluting them in Europe, wouldn't we?
Keep them here and take them to a strip joint, and they might have chilled out a bit. Ivan, thank you very much for the £20 super chat. I have a lot of developments which I hope will happen to me this year. Getting my channel off the ground, though, it's still incredibly difficult. I just want a space to talk about issues close to my heart, e.g., disability and NHS. And Ivan, look, mate, I mean, me and Phil can testify it is very, very difficult to do this. I know we make it look easy, I think, or at least Phil does. But I really struggle with it sometimes. I don't mind doing the live stuff, but I really struggle with doing pre-records. I just spend
the stuff that makes the money.
I don't get to bed till 1:30 in the morning if I do a pre-record because I just can't stop. There's something wrong with me. I know what's wrong with me about ADHD, but I can't let a video go out into the wild unless I'm completely happy with it, and it just takes too long. And I'm trying to do like
a certain amount of time. You need
just need not to have the ADHD, Graham.
Okay. Yeah, but
hang on, where's that switch? I'll flick the switch.
But you haven't got one. Oh. So unless you want to get one of Bill Gates' chips in your neck. So
I'll tell you what, if
what you need to do,
I had a producer,
is just give yourself a set amount of time, and in whatever state it's in after that amount of time, it goes out.
I can't.
Everyone needs coping mechanisms.
I'd be like trying to get, I don't know, a rhino to lay an egg. It just can't happen. It's biologically impossible. What I need is someone else to do that shit for me. I can just talk to the camera, talk bollocks, blah, 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 blah. I'm good at doing that. And then give it to someone else and they can do all that shit. Otherwise, it ain't going to get done, my friend. Anyway, but we've got generous people watching the channel like Ivan. So, just keep me head above water, just about. And Martin says, Ivan, I need to watch more of your channel. Have fallen out the habit as Graham has been doing long morning shows. Sorry, Martin, you're right. I do have a habit of rabbiting on a bit too long, but we're gonna wrap up in a moment. Is there anything else? I mean, it's been a big week. Venezuela,
big week,
rock,
yes.
Undressing children, the House of Lords with the debate on euthanasia being, 1,000 submitting 1,000 amendments, and Lord Faulkner's asked for extra time to get through all these fucking things. That is not gonna make people think that the House of Lords shouldn't be destroyed.
There's multiple things wrong with the House of Lords, multiple things, and one of them is they shouldn't be able to time out. If it's come from the House of Commons, that the House of Lords is supposed to be a revising chamber, not a blocking chamber.
Yes,
and it can act as a blocking chamber when it's unelected.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have it both
ways. It's five peers who are doing this.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the overwhelming majority who are freaking out. It's five peers. There should be a rule of how many amendments a peer can put forward.
No.
So the maximum
an individual. I wouldn't know, because sometimes you might have someone who's a bit expert and has got multiple problems with it. But it shouldn't be possible to time it out. In the House of Commons, you can't do that, for example.
Yeah.
You're limited.
Yeah.
And so you are limited, and also amendments that material are the same can't be put forward.
Yeah,
but it needs to be accepted that the House of Lords cannot block.
Yeah,
right. It needs to be a case of there's so many amendments, you put them in some sort of order of priority. You've got so much time to debate them, then there's going to be votes, and any that don't get time to be discussed. Do you know what? You're the revising chamber, not the legislative chamber.
Yeah.
They're part of the legislature, but they're not the legislative chamber. They're the revising chamber.
We've also got this month. They're going to have to make a decision on what to do with the Palace of Westminster, because they have three options, right?
Build a proper one in Doncaster.
They can stay there,
the proper circular one.
They can stay there and have the place being restored with them in it, which is going to be really fucking dangerous and take a lot of time and cost loads more money.
It won't be dangerous because they will cost a lot more to stop it being dangerous.
They can decant, so they'll take half of Parliament out. So the House of Lords will go meet somewhere else for a few years, and Parliament, the House of Lords will move into the House of Lords. The House of Commons will move to the House of Lords.
Isn't that even smaller?
Yes, I think so. I don't know. No, because it can't be, can it? Because the House of Lords has got to fit 872 peers or whatever ridiculous number it is.
I know, but they don't.
Might be even smaller.
They're all too sleepy.
I don't know. It's not like Nigel Farage is taking up much space these days because he doesn't turn up. He's too busy on the radio. Goose Springsteen, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. I think it's going to be the last of the afternoon. The Frankenstein's monster of US healthcare partly exists because during World War II, American companies were subject to pay control, so offered healthcare coverage as an alternative means of retention stroke reward. That's the history of that. And I think because FDR died, I genuinely believe that if FDR had just lived for an extra couple of years, because one of the things that Franklin Roosevelt was planning to bring in was a second Bill of Rights. But that got the old kibosh after the war because Truman didn't give a fuck about it. That could have been a bit, something America coming together after this great war efforts to make things better for the average American, make it so it's enshrined in the Bill of Rights that they couldn't be exploited for their labour, couldn't be discriminated against for the colour of their skin, and I don't know, have maternity leave. How about that? But no, that didn't happen. Okay, so Phil, we're going to leave it at that. And one Angry Ping says, we did not evolve from chimps.
We did. We actually did. It's not a common ancestor. We actually evolved directly from
Both chimps and the various Homo sapiens had a common ancestor.
No, it was the chimp. I've got that from the highest authority.
It was a chimp.
We've evolved.
Is that because we've found very, very few, if any at all, fossils between our common ancestor with chimps and chimps? Whereas we found quite a few fossils in humans.
It was the case maybe 30 years ago that there was like missing bits in the fossil record. There's not anymore. There's loads.
So we were chimps, finding more, and then our brains just got really, really big.
We discover a new dinosaur every week.
Yeah,
a new species of dinosaur every week. Fossil finding is much more advanced.
Would the common ancestor of a chimpanzee and a human look like a modern chimpanzee, though?
It's a chimp, yeah.
Would it look like, because you've got the bonobos, which are a different offshoot.
Bonobos are completely different to humans. Completely different. We would never have been able to.
Yeah, but they're a later offshoot from chimps.
Yeah, but bonobos are brilliant. If humans were like bonobos, no one would have a problem. We'd have no war.
Well, they just have sex to sort out all of their problems. Exactly. But there's a lot of incest going on there and fucked up shit.
But also, they couldn't possibly develop big enough brains to be the dominant ape. Because they're not meat eaters. You have to eat meat to get a big brain.
Really?
Yeah. Because what drove a lot of the evolution of our brain was when two things happened. First of all, when we were able to we got clever enough to be able to hunt in packs and bring down big things like mammoth, which can then feed you for ages. And secondly, when we learned to cook the meat, which helps break it down so we can absorb more of the nutrients. Because the brain requires a lot of energy.
So is going vegan going back in evolutionary history?
Well, you couldn't have gone vegan at that time. We can now, because we can have processed food, we can develop food
get proteins
that can sustain us without animals. But you couldn't have done that as hunter-gatherers.
You couldn't survive off berries.
No.
God damn it. Well, that's a plot point in Pluribus, for those of you who watched the first season. We're going to have a bit of a wait for the second one. Anyway, right, so Phil, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and talking about what's going on around the UK and a little bit of US politics. I mean, I hate talking about the US, but we've got to because it affects us.
Yeah, it does. Literally. And everyone knows that as well. Everyone understands it. Every one of my Trump-related videos does all right or well. Every one of my British political videos today. So I can confidently predict my 5 p.m. video is going to bomb. because they all do.
I like it when you make a video. I'm sorry, I know you hate this, but I like it when you make a video and then something major happens and you're like, oh, for God's sake, I made that video. Got to make another video now.
Respect my schedule. You should respect my schedule. There's certain times of the week when it's acceptable for news to come out.
Okay, so when there's going to be a massive news story, when is the best time for that to happen for you? What day?
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning. Okay,
Sunday morning.
Can everyone?
Sunday's fine.
Okay, Sunday morning
Sunday's
and
okay.
Thursday morning. There's your windows for doing mad shit. Okay, so if you're gonna
what they can't do,
invade,
right,
invade
is they
Greenland.
can't announce something major at like 12 noon or 4 p.m. Because if I've done a video on it anyway, if it's like a predictable thing, and then I've got to pull it, I ain't got time to do another one.
Oh.
I have very rarely had to do that, but I've not been happy when I had to do that.
Get on the phone, have words. Anyway, okay. Anyway, Phil, thank you. Thanks to everyone watching. I'll be back at 9:30 tonight for the Friday night social. And until then, I'll say thanks for watching. Give us a like on the way out. We always like a like. If I can get the animation working here. There we go. Yeah, give us a like. Give us a like. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to listen to this podcast or any of these shows on Politics Social. Woof. Said the wrong word there. On Politics Social, you can go over to YouTube Music and listen to it as a podcast if you wanna. So until next time, thanks for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Bye.